He is the star of such movies as Parenthood, The Jerk, Father of the Bride, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. The list goes on and on. He's also given standout performances as host of the Academy Awards and Saturday Night Live, and has even won a Grammy for his first bluegrass album.
Actor, comedian, and musician Steve Martin joins us to talk about his new CD, Rare Bird Alert. Steve, you play with the Steep Canyon Rangers on this album.
They're excellent. They really bring a lot to the record. They've been great musicianship, and our live show is quite fun too. You know, they're a very tight band, and I'm just there to screw it up for them.
I don't think so. How would you compare the 70s King Tut to your 2011 version?
Well, the first time I recorded it, that was when the King Tut exhibit was touring America. I went to my friends, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. We actually changed their names for that record to the Toot Uncommons, and we recorded it in Aspen, Colorado, and it sort of weirdly became a hit. It was like a kind of a rock band version of it. And when I started touring with the Steep Canyon Rangers, I just had this thought, gee, wouldn't it be crazy to do a bluegrass version of it? It seems so silly, because it's already silly.
Could have won a Grammy.
How is it you hooked up with Paul McCartney for this new album?
It's one of those things you think, well, this will never happen, and then it does. I had written a song, and it was suggested that Paul McCartney was the guy to sing it because it had a kind of it was a love song, an optimistic love song, and Paul McCartney had the right lilt, the right humor in his voice, even though it's not a funny song. It's got that sort of, I kept thinking of When I'm 64, kind of happiness to it.
You are my best love.
And through a long, convoluted process, he said yes. And I keep saying, the fact that Paul McCartney recorded a song that I wrote has to be one of the most thrilling moments of his life.
Lucky him.
Yeah.
Wait, aren't you afraid that Ringo is going to get his feelings hurt now?
Oh, well, I'd love to have Ringo on the album too. But,
And you also even bring the Dixie Chicks into it.
Dixie Chicks are fabulous. They harmonize on another song I wrote. This is a kind of a heartbreaking ballad, and they harmonize on it beautifully. It's called You. It's about that person in your life that you had a relationship once. It's over. It's right that it's over. You've moved on. But every once in a while you think about that person, and there's a little moment of reflection.
Well, I understand you're in a new movie, too, and there's a connection between one of the songs on this album and that film.
Yeah, there's a couple of songs on the album. The movie is not out till October. It's with Owen Wilson and Jack Black, two great guys that I loved working with. And we were up in Canada, we worked in the Yukon. The topic of the movie is competitive bird watching, believe it or not.
Competitive bird watching?
That's right. So the title of the album became Rare Bird Alert because I wrote several of the songs while I was on that movie.
Steve, is there anything you don't do?
Oh, well, yeah, of course, there are millions of things I don't do. But, each one of these things that I do are kind of linked, I think. I mean, maybe the music is its own world, but it's all linked to writing, all a part of the creative process. That's why I've kind of carved out time for myself to be able to make up things. And that's really, really what I do.
What an incredible guy Steve Martin is. Thank you so much, Steve. Writer, comedian, actor, and musician, Steve Martin.